Here, Bank Zoning Board of Adjustment will come to order this 15th day of May, 2025. Time is 6:30. Roll call, please.
Ann Torrey,
Here.
Ray Mass,
Here.
Eileen Hogan,
Here.
Ben Euro,
Here.
Sharon Lee,
Here.
Vincent Light,
Here.
Paul Cagno,
Here.
Anna Cruz,
Here.
Amanda Califano, absent, Eugene Horowitz,
Here.
and Chris Havens.
Okay, adequate notice of this meeting has been posted at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, and mailed to the Asbury Park Press at 2 River Times. This meeting is being tape recorded. In the event the applicant uses the service of a court reporter to transcribe the tapes, or requires a copy of the transcript. We'll break at about 8 p.m. for deliberation of testimony heard thus far in the conference room on the first floor. Public is invited to attend. However, discussion between board members and the public is not permitted at that time. No new cases will be heard after 9 p.m. The Red Bank Zoning Board of Adjustment has maintained a policy cutoff hour of 9:30 p.m. for its hearings. Any applicants not heard this evening will be carried over to next scheduled meeting. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic and one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a administrative matter. We have minutes for the April 17th meeting. Somebody like to approve that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business. We have Clay Street, Harding Road, and Hudson Avenue.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, as the applicant teams comes forward, we'll just do a couple of preliminary procedural things. The applicant notice for this meeting, is there anyone here who had any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the sufficiency of the notice? I don't see any. The board secretary and I reviewed the notice and found everything to be in order, so it'd be my opinion that we have jurisdiction to proceed tonight. Shauna, let's swear you in. Shauna Ebanks, you are professional planner and you are the borough's director of community development. Do you swear that the information and testimony you're about to provide, to the extent you provide any, will be the truth, the best of your knowledge, to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And Mr. McKenna will mark into the record things that we have before us. So A1 is the intent to proceed, and that's dated April 16th, 2025. A2 is the disclosure of ownership form. And A3 is the denial of application dated April 17th, 2025. And A4 are the floor plans prepared by FPA, and it's last revised September 12th, 2024, and it's consisting of 4 sheets. Shauna, I don't have any.
There's no letter.
No review memos. Perfect. Good evening, Mr. McKenna, and welcome to the Red Bank Zoning Board.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to see you all. If you don't mind me saying so, it's really great to see this many people here on an application of this magnitude. In many towns where you have a minor application like this, you're lucky if you get 4 or 5 people to show up. And the attendance here tonight is awesome. I really appreciate everybody. I know it's a ridiculously simple application, but please allow me to explain why we're here this evening. As you can see from the construction that's being done right now, Azalea Gardens is moving very quickly. One of the most important factors dealing with that particular site was the installation of the electric service for the site. And I believe the board's aware of this. The borough has no jurisdiction whatsoever when it comes to the placement of where the electrical facility would go. New Jersey, I'm sorry, our electric company, New Jersey Central Power and Light, they come in and tell you where they are requiring you to put it. The Board of Public Utilities in the state of New Jersey is their jurisdiction, and we have really nothing to say about it. Unfortunately, in this instance, they told us where to put the facility, What was even worse was, he said, well, we're gonna go back to the zoning board. And get permission to do that. And they said, you can do whatever you want, we don't care. But this is where we're gonna put the facility. And by the way, if you don't have it poured and ready, when we are prepared to deliver your transformer, three-phase transformer, the next one that you will probably get would be 9 months to 13 months from now. It's shocking to me that this still goes on in our state, but that's the things that we have to live with. If that had happened and we did not have the pad in place, this project would have gone bankrupt, essentially, because to wait 13 months without having any electric, and can't have any sales, you can't get any COs. I mean, it's a very, very difficult position for anyone to be put in. So we needed to get a variance for the placement of it. That's number one. Number two, in addition to that, the condensers for the units that are being constructed were originally planned to be in the front yard area. After reviewing the garden area that's going to be developed, we clearly found out that it would be much better to put the condensers on Clay Street behind the buildings, which would give us a lot more room in the garden area where we anticipate people to be active outside their own units. They'll be able to enjoy the garden area, et cetera. Whereas on Clay Street, all you have is the garage. Entering and leaving. So we did some reviewing, and what we are asking for tonight is the ability to place the units, the condenser units on Clay Street as opposed to in the garden area. And we will heavily landscape them so that they will have purple azaleas, sod and trees on Clay Street. So instead of having just a black street, dressed up pretty nicely and allow us to give more active area to the garden area of the project. That's it in a nutcase. I have with me tonight Lana Barone from French and Perillo. She's here to testify if you'd like to hear any engineering testimony. She's here and available. And Mr. Mumford, the developer, he's available if you would like to ask any questions. I'm representing this to you, and I think I've spoken to Shauna, and I know that she understood the application, but just wanted to perhaps save everybody some time. I really do appreciate you coming in, being here, but I don't want to take up more of the time than is necessary. So if you'd like to hear from the engineer, do that. Not then, we're really prepared to turn it over to the board for their comments and possibly.
I just have a question. Is there going to be anything around, because that's a pretty big unit, right? That,
The transformer.
like,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Rick.
Okay, let's get to, I need to be.
Yeah, you need to be sworn in.
You could just state your name, please,
Roger Mumford.
you could use a microphone.
and address.
At 94 Church Street, Little Silver, New Jersey.
All right, good evening and welcome. If you could just raise your right hand, do you swear that the information and testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the best of your knowledge, to help you God?
I do,
And you are a principal of the applicant, correct?
that's correct.
Thank you.
But to answer Mr. Mass's question, ironically, Lane and I were looking earlier on the adjacent streets. And when you start to look for transformers, it's like an Easter thing. You see them all over the place. It's not unusually large. And I was telling Ed prior to the meeting that the utilities, and then you'll start to see this, New Jersey American Water are insisting on tractor trailer sized above ground hot boxes on all new water. So thank God we're not dealing with that here. In terms of what we can do, as you know from the original plan, there's a tremendous amount of pavers and sod and landscaping. This is a big part of the attractiveness of the site. And we will augment the best we can. I mean, it's in my best interest as well. I will say this,
we'll keep it a little bit from the transformer because the electric company has specifications in that regard.
Right.
You know, so I can't just jam a bunch of green against it. You're also not allowed to paint them. You know, in my opinion, the transformer is a smaller item than the electric poles. And incidentally, they're in the process of being placed. You'll see them if you go down the street. But there's other poles coming out. For example, the one on Clay Street, having nothing to do with me, that's just about to fall over, we have to pay for because it's a Verizon pole and not JCP&L. The whole thing takes almost daily management on our sites with these utilities.
So if the engineer can just explain the distance from the JCP&L's utility pole to the transformer, and because that would, I think, would help the board better understand why it needs to be in the front yard. And just the reasoning behind why JCP&L decided.
Morning.
Yeah, if you could just state your name, please.
My name is Lena Balorda Barone.
And how do you spell Lena?
It's Jelena.
Jelena, and last name?
B as in boy, ALORDA -BARONE.
Barone.
Yes.
All right, and your business address?
Business address is 1800 Route 34, Wall, New Jersey.
Okay, and if you could just raise your right hand, do you swear that the information and testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the best of your knowledge, to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Just for the record, you're testifying in your capacity as?
Professional engineer licensed in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, and your licenses are current and up to date and certifications are all in good standing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So as Mr. McKenna was describing, JCP&L came out to the site, I believe this was in March of this year, and said that we had to place the transformer off of Hudson Avenue. That's where they're gonna feed the project from. And they said that it had to be no more than 10 feet from the face of curb, which puts it 5.09 feet from the property line. So it is within the 10-foot setback. And on this exhibit that I'm showing, that it's the color rendering of the landscape plan, you can see the transformer between the two proposed trees. So their requirement was to be 10 feet from the face of curb. We did ask if it could be pushed back, and they said no. In order for them to reach it with their equipment and have accessible, it had to be in that particular location. And I would also like to point out that this site is of a particular shape because we have 3 front yards. We front on Clay Street, Harding Road, and Hudson Avenue. So whichever way you did it, most likely it had to be in the front yard.
And then if you can explain too with the AC condensers, even though you don't need a variance
Sure.
for it. Being that on Clay Street is technically the back of the houses.
We consider this the rear of the houses. So yes, it is a front yard because it fronts on Clay Street, but
Right.
what we did here, again, it's being used for garage access. So what we did is we're placing these condensers 10.1 feet, so more than 10 feet outside of the front yard. And that's their location, the proposed location. And what this allowed us to do is also where we, we're able to add some landscaping. You can see the trees that we're adding in purple as well as more azaleas. So we feel that this is gonna enhance the views along Clay Street from the original approval.
Is the JCP&L, I mean, just what you were saying at the beginning, for my benefit, maybe just to know, but they do this at the, like this time in the project, then you just find out where they have to put the transfer. It's like that, not what you can't do it, obviously. You would have done it ahead of time, but is this how it is? They just come in?
They will not
This is it?
take your project until you get site plan approval.
Oh,
Let me just respond, Ms. Hogan.
Just speak into the mic, please.
Just to be clear, in a project that I completed homes a year ago in Homedale, I can't deliver an entire subdivision because the Union Beach branch of JCP&L is taking 1 to 3 years to respond to things. People have no idea how crippling this is. There's builders in Ocean County who've abandoned subdivisions because they can't get electric. And so this is nothing you can plan in advance. You have to have all your approvals. Then, and I'll say this very quickly, they do what's called a red line, which is 1 division. and it's operated out of First Energy in Ohio, and they have to check anything. You get the red line, you wait months for somebody to give you a price, and you'll never get a call back. Once you get the price, we immediately send the check and the contract to Ohio, and then 6 months later, maybe we'll get a job meeting. It's unbelievable.
And we see that on projects. You cannot get them to look at your project without receiving site plan approval, so you don't know exactly what they want where.
Yeah, because when we give the site plan approval, we don't, okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, we, just as an aside, I've had this problem with 4 other buildings. Thankfully, 3 of them not in Red Bank. But it's just unbelievable how insensitive and ignorant they are as far as trying to cooperate with you in any way whatsoever. Very dictatorial. They come in, they tell you, this is where it's gonna be. This is where you're gonna do it, and if you don't like it, you're not gonna get electric. Period.
Any questions for this witness? On the board, any questions from the public for this witness? Don't see any. Any comments from the board?
I'm watching it every day. So every day, so. Yeah, no,
We're all
I saw there's.
every day for a lot of days, for a lot of years, but thank you.
Yeah. No, I was watching the electric, the polls, yeah. So,
Any comments from the public on this application? Okay, let's move forward. Anybody make a motion to approve? this?
I will.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, I would,
Wait, I need a second.
oh, sorry.
Second,
I would respectfully suggest that our typical standard conditions would be compliance with all the promises, commitments, and representations the team made. And obtaining any necessary outside approvals and obviously comply with all the conditions of prior approvals unless specifically obviated herein. And obviously compliance with the affordable housing rules and regulations. Shield the transformer as per the testimony. And perpetually maintain that, which you would obviously be doing. Comply with obviously the prevailing JCP&L specs. And I think that was the gist of it.
Ann Torrey,
Yes.
Ray Mass.
Yes.
Eileen Hogan,
Yes.
Ben Euro,
Yes.
Karen Lee,
yes.
Vincent Light,
Yes.
Paul Cagnon,
Yes.
and I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I took the liberty, and no one asked me to, but I know there's sensitivity with timeframes, and I know I have a resolution I can speed read into the record if the board wants. There's no requirement that I do that, but I know there's a lot of things per waiting and watching. So if we want, I can speed read it.
as long as it's not 20 pages.
Right, no. So anyway, the resolution would reflect all the testimony and the history. And basically, the fact that after the construction process commenced and after prior approval, is when the utility company had made the determination. And we're gonna say that the developer, at least initially, was under the impression that maybe that transformer would not necessarily necessitate site plan review when there was some higher level discussions on that. And basically, we determined that given the nature of the proposed utility improvement, given the size of it, given the fact that it was below ground and above ground, and given the fact that the definitions of the borough's site plan and waiver and exemption, and given the fact that a variance is ultimately needed, we determined that the zoning officer determined that site plan was approval or waiver of site plan approval was required, and then particularly with the amendment. And basically, if you are agreed with this resolution, the resolution will say that this board has proper jurisdiction, and the aforesaid move, at least with regard to the transformer, is driven by the utility company, which has large or almost exclusive jurisdiction over the issue, as Mr. McKenna indicated, and the desire to place the transformer in this particular occasion was made by the utility company after the approval and after the construction has already commenced. And under the circumstances, site plan or waiver, of site plan approval is appropriate. While the applicant could choose to attempt to fight and litigate with the utility company, it doesn't necessarily mean that that would be successful, and that would cost time, stress, delay, and aggravation under the circumstances. And given the reasons cited before, the borough does feel that site plan and or waiver and variance approval is necessary. And basically, we're talking about, obviously, the life sustaining and life affirming electrical service to be provided. It's necessary, it's essential, and without electric service, as Mr. Mumford indicated, there can be no. So basically, you'd be approving this application with the amendments, and you'd be finding that with these amendments, there'd be no change to the density of what was previously approved, no change to the intensity of what was previously approved, no change to the height of the buildings, no change to the orientation of the buildings, no change to the previously approved ingress and egress, no change to the previously approved architectural elevations, no change to the parking spaces, no change to the location of the driveway, no change to the appearance of the site, except for a few things that we talked about. And let's see, there's no, based upon the testimony information presented, these changes will not lead to any health or safety issues. There's no changing to the affordable housing pictures. Remember, we have two structures on site, cottages on site, and there's no change to those obligations. And there's no increase in the number of bedrooms, no increase in the number of bathrooms. This is not going to change any conditions of approval unless specifically obviated, not going to change the terms of any previously issued developer agreement. And basically, we're going to say just a couple more things. We're going to say that clearly this was not the fault or result of negligence of the developer. It is just the way the utility companies work. And we're going to say that in all, based upon the testimony and presented, what Mr. McKenna indicated, there's going to be more room in the gardens, which is probably a better design alternative. And there is going to be landscaping to shield the issues, the transformer and the condensers. And under the circumstances, this may in fact represent a better overall zoning alternative. And we're fortunate that there were no known public objections associated with this proposed modifications. And I think that's it. So if that is acceptable, we can adopt that resolution as modified, if that's the pleasure of the board.
Okay, we have a motion to approve that resolution per Mr. Kennedy's speed reading.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
A second.
Ann Torrey,
Yes.
Remass,
Yes.
Eileen Hogan,
Yes.
Ken Euro,
Yes.
Karen Lee,
Yes.
Vincent Light,
Yes.
Paul Cameron.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The kitties.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody.
Does the exhibit stay?
That's good.